I think there's just an assumption like, oh, okay, well, the traditional old guard, the F5s, the NetScalers, the KEMPs, they're sort of, reaching their point of maturity, and it's going to be a sunsetting opportunity. I think what folks are missing, and this has happened every time that there's been a new sort of platform shift, is that we've been building IP and capability for a very long time.
Hey everyone, this is Charles Schwenger here. 10th Magnitude, we're here at WPC with a special Manhattan's video, downtown the beautiful city of Toronto. Here with Jeff.
Yep.
Nice to meet you, Jeff.
Nice to meet you too.
Definitely. Can you tell us a little bit about just your role at KEMP and maybe just a quick 30 seconds on KEMP and what they do?
Absolutely.
Great.
Well, we really appreciate the opportunity. My name is Jeff Fisher, and I'm VP of Strategic Alliances at KEMP Technologies. We are a leader in application delivery and specifically focused on Microsoft technologies, have been for a long time. Traditionally, load balancing workloads in the unified communication space, so the Exchange, Skype for Business, and SharePoint trilogy, as we like to call it. Much more recently, in the last couple of years, we've become very involved in Azure through the Azure Marketplace, and are now a top 10 Azure Marketplace offering, providing advanced application delivery capabilities for folks running workloads and platform as a service offerings within Azure.
Great. And how has kind of the entrance of Marketplace really impacted you guys and your business and your ability to scale and deliver to your customers?
I think it's just a great venue for Microsoft to be able to showcase partner solutions, ISV partner solutions. Microsoft has always been a partner-centric company. I think a lot of platform providers in IT throughout history have always said they were. Microsoft actually is one, and Satya obviously reinforced that point several times today at the show. And the fact that there are 15,000 people at a partner conference in Toronto, I think, is a testament to that. So the ability to have a focused portal, if you will, for ISV solutions that complement Azure. So folks can go up, they can search the catalog, they can find solutions, and especially the fact that the Azure Marketplace has both a sort of a web catalog where people who can more casually browse stuff, but also for administrators who are actually in the Ibiza portal, who are deploying virtual machines, deploying platform as a service solutions in real time, figure out that they need some application delivery capabilities that Azure doesn't provide. They can search the marketplace right then and there, pick a solution, and in our case, we offer free offering, we offer hourly as well as BYOL, so we make it really easy from a licensing perspective just to test out what the KEMP Loadmaster is all about.
Absolutely. And just being on the business development side at 10th Magnitude, I've seen a lot of shift just from the Microsoft side in how they're directing their sellers and directing their customers towards the marketplace. Not only just from a platform to get it out there, how have you seen Microsoft kind of shift their focus to helping from a marketing perspective, helping engage different sellers, along with the ISV workloads and compensation schedules, things like that? How has that changed for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's changed tremendously. So we were lucky enough to be pretty early in the Azure Marketplace. We started the development effort about 3 years ago. And it was a little painful getting it in there at first. There was pre-marketplace, VM Depot for those who remember. And then obviously the development of the marketplace from a technical perspective evolved greatly. But as you mentioned, Microsoft really started putting their muscle behind it because I think they understand, especially against other public cloud platform providers, that's their competitive advantage. Their rich ecosystem of ISV partners, rich ecosystem of SI partners, and so they've been doing everything in their power. Specifically, our developer experience team, our DX team, has been showering us with love. They've been getting us marketing funds, and they really have been along the way in fiscal 16, and now I think in 17 we're really going to see it. Have been trying to do things to foster go-to-market with companies like 10th Magnitude, where they're saying, we'll give you money for something, but you need to do it with a leading SI. And for us, you guys are a no-brainer to work with.
Absolutely. And just so you mentioned the switch over between FY16 and FY17. What are some of the biggest kind of hot ticket items that you guys are seeing, just in terms of what's getting you excited about the new year to come with Microsoft?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, first of all, selfishly, we're excited that we've grown so much. We're, as I mentioned, we're now a top 10 offering. So that's given us a certain level of status within Microsoft's ISV partnership system, and gives us access to a lot of benefits that smaller ISVs don't have. I think in terms of sort of more of where the rubber meets the road, what they're doing with their CRM system, and some of the stuff that we've seen with Partner Sales Connect, where it's much more advanced than what was available through the app catalog, where in 16 it was just the ability of Microsoft Field globally to share leads with ISVs, with SIs, and I think there was a limitation that there could only be one partner name attached to a particular opportunity, which is, was a huge limitation, especially if there was an opportunity that we're working on with you guys. We're not competing, we're the ISV
Right.
partner, you're the SI partner, and yet the Microsoft Field team could not see that. There wasn't a capacity. So now they're limiting the access of what partners have access. So they're bringing greater focus on limited players, number of players like us, like you guys, and they're also providing the ability to attach more than one partner name, so they can cover the SI side, cover the ISV side, and the lead system is now bidirectional. So we're able to enter opportunities you guys can and alert the Microsoft team, and vice versa. And I think that's just going to really drive super levels of engagement in 17.
Yeah, absolutely, and not only just from a technology perspective and in changing kind of how they focus and how they go to market, and obviously taking the whole ISV partner conversation to the next level. I've personally been seeing just a ton of focus around kind of bringing new people to market, as well as how do you culturally change the business. I think with the entrance of Satya to Microsoft, that really started that ball rolling.
Yep.
And the shift over from public cloud consumption focus versus seat count has really helped accelerate that. I've been seeing a lot just from this conference and some of the conversations that I've been having around that direction.
Yep.
How do you see that continued direction impacting you guys as you try and accelerate and change maybe your business model and how your team acts, what that company culture is?
Absolutely. I think it's just really accelerating secular trends and some stuff we were talking about right before the session, where the advent of virtualization, and then the enablement that virtualization provided to power public cloud. I think there's no question on the technology side, we've been on a path for us, as an example, away from traditional hardware solutions and hardware appliances to virtual appliances and software. That's a great secular trend. But the other piece is, how do you change people's behavior in terms of how they sell?
Right.
And the fact that Microsoft is making it all about Azure consumption is really driving interest at end users, partners, and really throughout the value chain in a way that I don't think would be possible. And that is now starting to pick up steam with our own field, who still sort of struggles with, do I sell a BYOL solution versus hourly? Well, if I sell hourly, then how am I going to get paid? And I think now we're seeing deal sizes and deal complexity and deals with customers with EPG, heavy duty Fortune 100 organizations, where our field team is like, this customer is so strategic and they're buying enough where I'm not going to worry about it anymore. I'm going to spend my time focused on this.
Yeah. And yeah, from my side, I don't think a non-strategic customer exists anymore.
Right.
Just with the changes that have happened at Microsoft, what's the secret sauce to you guys? I've been seeing so much acceleration around your team and just having conversations with everyone. I mean, how do you guys keep that really focused company culture with all the entrance of partnering with different firms and working with Microsoft, et cetera, et cetera?
Right. It's interesting. The application delivery space has evolved. I think there's a certain perception that perhaps because of the advent of platforms like AWS and Azure, and the fact that those have some load balancing capabilities built in, some layer 7 session management capabilities. I think there's just an assumption like, oh, okay, well, the traditional old guard, the F5s, the NetScalers, the KEMPs, they're sort of reaching their point of maturity, and it's going to be a sunsetting opportunity. I think what folks are missing, and this has happened every time that there's been a new sort of platform shift, is that we've been building IP and capability for a very long time. And there are a lot of advanced capabilities that we put into a LoadMaster environment that we've worked on simplifying, make it really easy for admins to get access to. Not everyone wants to be a layer 7 application delivery controller specialist. People want to deploy applications. They run into a roadblock that requires layer 7 functionality. They don't necessarily want to start digging deep into the platform, learning scripting, learning all the different areas that they have to unify together. They just want to have one throat to choke, and we make it extremely simple. Again, having been on the software-centric path for a long time, it just plays into our favor. We're staying focused. We are innovating. We're bringing lots of new solutions to market. One area or product family that's new is called KEMP 360, and that's really all about bringing a new level of enterprise class management, monitoring, and related capabilities so that large customers can deploy dozens or, if necessary, hundreds of virtual instances and be able to manage them as a unified whole.
Absolutely. So we're talking a little bit earlier about some of the joint engagements that we've been working on together. One is a major church down in South Central who's moving a number of their different workloads into Azure. We're working with them to bring them to kind of this IaaS model, infrastructure as service model. Help me understand a little bit your side, your perspective on how that partnership and how we're working together. And then I'd love to get your perspective on just how you see our partnership growing over the next 6 months.
Absolutely. So I think this customer is a perfect example for the partnership, but also really sort of hits on a couple of key points. The first is part of their solution is actually SharePoint. And I think there's a preconceived notion that somebody who's got SharePoint on-prem is going to move to a Microsoft Cloud solution, is going to use SharePoint online. And it's a great solution. It covers a lot of bases. But people who have built on SharePoint on-prem as a platform and really done much more complex things need to move to an IaaS-based model within Azure. So you can't just fire up O365, turn on the SharePoint features, and then start loading up all of your SharePoint-based applications. So they need IaaS, and so okay, fine. So they started moving that piece, and there's still also this this notion that we're probably just going to have all the redundant and high availability capabilities built in, and it's not until that we get further into those deployments that they realize that there's sort of session state and other key parts of their deployment that require layer 7 services. And so, another example of a customer who we sort of just knew by looking at them would be a great fit. In terms of the way that KEMP and 10th Magnitude work together, I think now that you guys are finally getting a real taste of working with us on a real project with a real customer, the next time you guys are have the Kool-Aid down, it's going to be much easier for you to identify future customers and to know exactly what needs to be done. And so for us, it's just all about spreading the awareness, being respectful of the fact that Microsoft does have the Azure Load Balancer, Azure Traffic Manager, Azure Application Gateway, but being realistic, and we're even encouraged by our Microsoft DX team to spread our wings and talk about the capabilities. As you get into more complex IaaS and PaaS deployments, features like content switching, which is also known as URL rewrite or redirect, SSL termination, re-encryption. These become things that are required for lots of customers, and they're not available natively within the Azure platform.
Absolutely, yeah. And as you talk about just bringing in all the different services within Azure, kind of like Lego blocks, right? How you build these complex solutions. I think it just reaffirms that partnership in being able to work through complex solutions together.
Absolutely.
So I'm really excited about the partnership, and if you just look at this one use case that you brought up, I mean, if they have all their systems and 30,000 people accessing the systems, them having to serve that kind of size and scale of a customer base, I mean, it just talks to kind of our joint ability to be able to hone all that in and be able to make that a successful story.
Completely agreed. I think we're going to see in 17 really the first massive wave of migration, and not just sort of toe in the water, people doing major migrations. And we're all about trying to make sure that when it comes to the application delivery piece, it's as smooth and seamless as possible.
Yep.
And we're looking forward to working on a lot of more great projects with you guys.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the time. And from Toronto, WPC 2016, really excited to have you here, and looking forward to the great events for this evening.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jeff.